towards you, what was your first reaction? Oh no! What was Jesus' reaction? How am I going to feed them? Right? I don't know. My kids used to have friends at my house all the time. I lived in a multi-family house, and the boy next door they all had the same friend, and this gang of boys would be coming to my house. And I'd be like, not at dinner time. Please, not at dinner time, not at dinner time. Because I didn't want to have to feed them. I did think, how could I ever feed them? If there was one or two, I would feed them, but we'll see. My daughter would go away to a friend's house for a whole week and then come home and go, I'm starving, they never fed me. But anyways, I would think about food, and Jesus thought about food. How are we going to feed these people? And that's really interesting to me, because do you think the crowd was looking for food?
No.
Did they go to him because they were hungry?
No.
No. So what an interesting reaction. Right? Why do you think the crowd was going after him? What were they looking for?
I think they want to confront him.
For what?
Confront him.
To confront him? You think they were upset?
Yes.
Ah. What do you think, Miriam?
To feed your soul.
To feed their souls. Does anyone remember what the scripture said? It says that they had seen the signs that he was doing for the sick. So they had seen some healing miracles, or heard about the healing miracles. So maybe some of them were looking for healing, but the real emphasis here is on the signs. The Gospel of John is full of signs. This is the sign that Jesus performed. So these people have recognized signs, and they want to, I don't know if confront is the right word. I don't think they're angry. I think they're excited. They want to see. Is it true?
I don't think they were angry. I think they wanted him to prove it.
They wanted him to prove it. So they see the signs, and they're going to see. Is it true? Because what do the signs mean? He's sent from God, is basically what it is. They want to see, are these signs true that he was sent from God? Now, this is the start of chapter 6 in John's Gospel. In chapter 5, the whole thing takes place in Jerusalem. So that's why he left Jerusalem, he went to Galilee. And in chapter 5, it's all full of arguments. Jesus arguing with the religious leaders. And they're saying, who do you think you are to break the Sabbath and heal people? And he's saying, I'm the Son of God. That's who I am. I have seen the face of God, and I am sent by God. And I don't care whether you believe me or not. I don't need to prove it to you. The proof of who I am is in my miracles and in my teachings. That's the only proof I need. So he's had this big argument with the religious authorities, and their response is to try to kill him. They're looking for ways to kill him. That's what we're told in chapter 5. So Jesus leaves Jerusalem, and he goes to Galilee. This is where he's from, where he lives, where he does a lot of his ministry. And it doesn't say how much time has passed, but I wonder how much those conversations are still running through his head. Right? They don't believe me. I don't care. I know who I am. I'm from God. And here comes this crowd who is, I would say, hungry for hope. They want to know, we've seen these signs, we've heard about these signs. Could it be true? Are you the one, Jesus? They're hungry for hope. And what does Jesus do? I got this? Sit down. I'm going to feed you. The skepticism of the disciples is just so perfect. It's just the perfect play-in to what Jesus wants to do, right? They want to say, it's hopeless. We couldn't possibly feed all these people. What do we have to offer? A lousy 5 loaves. Perfect setup for what Jesus wants to do. Take a seat, he tells them. He's going to feed them. They might not be hungry for the bread and fish, but what he's giving them is yet another sign of who he is. There wasn't a lot of variety, I'll grant you, but there was a lot of food. this passage really emphasizes the abundance. There were 5,000 people seated on that grass, and they all ate as much as they wanted until they were satisfied. So much bread, so much fish, and the 2 fish, they were just like little sardines. And out of that, people could lay plenty of fish on that bread and eat to their hearts and their bellies' content. And it was more than enough. And then Jesus said to the disciples, gather up the leftovers. And out of these lousy 5 loaves, they started sharing. There was how much left over? Does anyone remember? 12 baskets. I wonder if that's significant. What does 12 mean to the ancient people? Huh?
The disciples.
Yes. 12 tribes of Israel. It's the 12 tribes of Israel. God's chosen people. There are 12 tribes. There's enough for you to have your fill. There's enough hope. There's enough love right in this moment for you to fill your bellies. And there's enough that there'll be some more later for every tribe. All of God's people will be taken care of in the moment and in time to come. Nothing will be lost. No little bit of hope will be lost. That is what he fed them. They came looking for a sign. He gave them a sign. They were hungry for hope. He fed them on the hope of his promises, on the hope of who he was. And they ate their fill. So, the passage, how do we apply it to us? Where do we hunger for hope? Where does it seem impossible to meet the need that's out there? Absolutely impossible. It's hopeless. We can't possibly give everybody what they need. Where do we recognize that we have something, some gift from God to share, but it seems just so inconsequential, what we have to offer? So we slap a little bit of coat of paint on the Sunday school wing to pretty it up. What does that mean? We have a few new people stepping up to serve on committees and in offices. Just a few. What does that mean? We make a couple of dozen sandwiches every other month for an outdoor ministry. What does that do to fix the world? Not much. We have a bake sale 2 or 3 times in the summer. Really? It may feel like so little. We give a few weeks of a free lunch during Lent. A few pots of soup, some bread, some hospitality. Other churches can do so much more. They have so many more people. They do so much more than we do. We have these meetings, these congregational-wide gatherings where we talk with honesty, and we talk with vulnerability about how to stretch our welcome. Is that really enough? I don't know. It seems so little. But what would Jesus say? He would say, take a seat, my friends. I got this covered. Sit in the grass. Receive from the bounty of what you have offered. You have given what you have. I will multiply. I will bless the world with it. Your offering is not small in my power. Take a seat and receive of this bounty. So the crowd recognizes the sign, another sign, and they are convinced. Indeed, he is the one. He is the prophet sent to us from God. And what's Jesus' response? Run away! Run away! Jesus seems to know a lot of things. He knows what the crowd is looking for. He knows what he's going to do with the bread. This is John uses this a lot in his gospel of Jesus knowing in advance what's going to happen. And Jesus here knows that they want to force him to be king. So they understand the signs, and they understand in a way what the signs mean, that he is of God, that he is there to save them. But they don't understand that his way is going to be different. He focuses on abundance, all there is. Right now in the moment is the main focus, but don't worry, there's more for later. But this attitude they have of, let's make him king, that's another scarcity focus. Power is a scarce source. We're going to give it to you because you're going to take it from them. You're going to turn the tables. You're going to save us you're going to save us from our enemy. You're going to take away their power, and you're going to be in power, and you're going to save us. You're going to take care of us. You're going to feed us. You're going to nurture us. Still this idea of scarcity. They don't understand that Jesus works from abundance, that his idea of power is not power over. It is power with. It is power through. It is not about conquering anyone's enemy. It is not about bringing people low. It is about finding enough in him and through him that we move forward and that we participate in the coming of the kingdom. And so he heads for the hills. He's going off to pray, to be fed himself by his Abba, to plan, to think, well, that idea didn't work so well. I mean, he knows a lot, but he couldn't foresee how people would take it. How am I going to make them understand what it is I'm about? What am I going to do? So he's off well into the dark night. The disciples get tired of waiting. And maybe before he left, he said, I'll catch up with you later. And they wait as long as they can, but they can't wait anymore. So they get in the boat, and they're rowing. They rowed for miles. The sea is rough and choppy. And Jesus must have gotten what he needed, and he's heading out to them. Doesn't matter that it's dark. He seems just completely unaware of the rough seas going on. He's walking on those rough seas towards them. He might have used some miracle mojo to get there a little quicker. I don't think he walked the whole 3 or 4 miles. But he got to the boat, and they're all scared, and he's like, don't worry. So he's calm now. He must have come up with a plan. So friends, you're being left with a cliffhanger. What did he come up with? How is he going to help the people understand what it is he's about? Stay tuned, because the next several weeks, you'll hear all about it, and it's still very confusing to me. I don't think it worked out real well. But, I'm not Jesus, and maybe the wisdom will seep in over time. But that's what we have for today. Amen.